Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. The Grant. My name is Niels Tudor Winter, and I'm the creator, editor, and host of The Grant. The Grant is an independent podcast initiative with the ambition to dig into all corners of the EU R&D funding system on topics of interest for the full EU R&D funding community. Proposals become like little babies for the proposal coordinators. There's no end to the number of times guests on The Grant have referred to their submitted proposals and projects as their babies. However, many of these babies get rejected before they come to life. Rejections are an essential part of submitting EU proposals. Whoever has been even the slightest involved in EU R&D funding proposals have received rejections. But it is for the proposal coordinator that the rejections can be a real mental challenge. And why is that? That's because the proposal coordinator often also is the one who develops the idea from scratch, involves key partners, make a solid effort to sell the idea and making it even stronger, deals with whatever challenges arise during the preparation of leaving partners, rough budget discussions, text developing issues, and so on and so on. There is no end to how much a proposal developer invests of her or himself in this process, which in the end results in a sort of symbiosis with the proposal. All this, of course, means that when the evaluation summary report arrives and the email text start out with the sentence, "Sorry to inform you that your project has not been granted funding," it can hit hard. My good old colleague from P&O, Elena Gonzalo-Roldan, now Innovation Management Expert in Smart Innovation Norway, asked me if we could do an episode about the roughness of receiving these rejections for your little babies. We discuss why this is difficult and how to cope with it. Indeed, this is an episode that should interest a lot of you out there. Please enjoy. The Grant. Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. Today, we are going to have it's going to be an episode. I think I'm going to put it in the timeline series because we're going to talk about rejections today. And I didn't cover that, which is a natural next episode in the timeline series. Naturally, you submit a proposal and what happens after that. And I have a guest because she requested this. Elena, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Very nice to have you back. Regulars might remember your voice, but non-regulars, they might not. So for the sake of it, before we explain what today's episode is about, can you shortly present yourself?
Yes, of course. My name is Elena Calzado. I work as International Project Manager at the Smart Innovation Norway. I'm also EU advisor for different Norwegian clusters. I have a chemistry degree. I'm Spanish, working and living in Madrid, but working for Norway. Quite fortunate. And making the link between these two different countries. And I have been working as international R&D manager for a long time now, more than 22 years, working in different sectors, including energy, transport, agri-food, environment, working as project manager, proposal manager, exploitation responsible, supporting a lot of different type of organizations in managing their funding opportunities. So I have worked for the public sector, for administrations, for different associations, for universities, and of course also for the private sector as a consultant, and also being a member of companies, and now working for research centers. I'm also coach for entrepreneurs, an external evaluator, both at national level and also for the European Commission. in the different sectors, and also for Eureka, Eurostars, and others. So I could say that I have experienced a lot of different situations regarding EU funding, EU projects, and EU proposals.
Yeah, you could also do this podcast.
No, not really not. But let me add something. I'm really happy to talk about rejections, but I hope that you didn't choose me to be the one that has more rejections in Europe.
We'll see about that. Oh, the rejections. That's what we're going to talk about today now. So this will be in the timelines, yes, but it's actually also related to my mental health discourse of this podcast. Regulars will know that it's a lot. I'm very concerned about this. Is something that I care a lot about, mental health for everybody out there, especially proposal preparers, because it's a very rough and tough place to be, either be it for a private consultancy company or working for a university research organization. And in that last time I released my latest episode, suddenly there was a huge there's always a lot of comments, much more comments to my LinkedIn post as normal, because normally it's just a couple of people, normally the guest, that that thanks for being right, that might a couple of us, but here there was actually a thread of people not congratulating, but thanking us for picking up the subject and so on. Now, you in that thread asked, but could we also look at rejections, because it's also it's actually quite mentally hard to receive rejection and deal with that for many reasons. And Elena, I cannot reject you. No? A good,
And I
nice,
really thank you.
good,
Avoid
nice,
another rejection.
good, nice old colleague for non-regulars. We've been colleagues in sister departments of P&O back in the days.
Yes.
So we know each other, and we have a good rapport. We always had fun whenever we met. So, of course. So we have scoped an episode here for everybody out there, and lots of you, much more of you, will relate to the rejections than for the for the winning proposals, because the ratio is minimum 1-4. Or 4-1 rejections to 1, all the way up to 90% rejections. No, so many of you out there will be able to relate to what we're going to talk about today. Fly-in. I put here the nature of rejected proposals. Now I'm going to let you. Can you share with me, because you motivated this episode? Can you share with the listeners and me?
Yes, sure. It's like when I hear the Grant podcast, and of course, very, very interesting issues you discuss and very interesting people you talk to, I realize how many people is around Europe working in EU proposals, EU projects. So the whole EU mechanism of funding research in Europe is so huge, so many people involved. If you consider how many people is working in the commission itself, and how many researchers, companies, universities, administrations are willing to get this money, are willing to really make research, innovation, apply for that. I realized that, of course, everybody considers that the money is not enough. Sometimes it's a matter of money. There is not enough money for everyone to do what we want to do. That's clear. But in the end, you consider is how much time do we spend? How many people spend a lot of time, efforts, resources on developing proposals? Maybe if you calculate that effort, that time, and that money is even much more than the money the commission itself is providing as a prize for the winning proposal. So it's something really to consider. How can we improve this process? And for those who our work is dedicated to this, how to manage that, how to manage, is the effort fully lost, how to manage those rejections when your work is only this and you see that most of the effort you have done is not enough.
Mhm.
So there is a lot there to talk about individually. How do we feel as proposal coordinator, proposal manager, consultant? How do we feel about that? How companies, research centers, any kind of entity face this lack of success, and how Europe itself is able to support and make this sustainable. So I have these like 3 levels of wondering, what are really we doing in Europe? Is this
Yeah.
working?
Yeah. Well, it's actually questions enough for many podcasts. And it's a returning topic of the episode, of the podcast, I would say. Sorry. The this say, look, how, like, the amount of resources that is being used that is not realized into a proposal or project. Sorry. The amount of efforts, the man hours spent,
Mm.
that's like, it's competitive funding schemes, right? It's competitive grants. It's so this is the way it's built up, but it has become more and more popular as the years have passed, and more money has been put into especially the framework program scheme, right? So it has become a big monster of a huge machine of thousands and thousands and thousands of people that will not receive anything, that is still working with this. And you would always say, well, that's at least when I was an SAP, or if you would say, okay, it's not, you still get something out of it, even though you don't get the money. So you created a consortium or network through the proposal. You managed to scope out a quality project that you can try to finance elsewhere. But it's not, 9 out of 10, it's not, it's not moving on with something else after the rejections. People say, well, we'll see next time.
Hmm.
How many times have I received that? Okay, it didn't work. Let's see if we can find some alternative funding. So that's always the reply. No. Yeah, personal, organization, and then Europe. I think I've tried to scope the rundown a little bit about carving out. So what does it actually feel? The idea, and then when you get the rejection, and then the organizational at personal level. And so I haven't really put in the European level, but we might slip in. Anyways, let's try to follow the rundown here. So what I put the blog, the baby syndrome.
Yeah.
That's what I called the net blogger. Why did I call it the baby syndrome again?
Yeah, because I feel like a mother that have lost hundreds of children. I already told you, it's like, of course, it's also my personal engagement, is how I feel when I'm so engaged, so committed with the work I do, that for me, every proposal is like a little child. It's like my baby.
Yeah.
I give it birth. I like to make it grow, feed it. I want to see my baby.
And it's very painful to get.
Yeah, it's really painful because you put all your dreams on it, and you have a lot of parents, their family trying to get it.
Takes a village.
Yeah, and when sometimes it's like being a mother, a father, being you will always feel proud of your children, of any of your babies. But of course, sometimes you feel like, hey, this is the baby. I know this is the one.
Mhm.
And again, you somehow, I would say, fail. I don't like fail, the word fail, but just to understand each other is okay, we don't succeed. what can we do with this? Of course, it's like I already put all my energy on this, and after I put all my energy, illusion, dreams on it, my effort, my life on it, I need to forget about this baby because I need to start thinking about the next baby. So I'm already starting again, looking for something, a new dream, a new baby to think about, working. And while you are trying to feed this baby, you get the notice that your previous baby is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And this is once and again, the same. So sometimes you feel disappointed, you feel frustrated, because of course this is your work, and this is something we discussed. I told you, it's like I don't want to lose my energy, my illusion, I want really to continue putting all my energy and commitment in every baby.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really hard when you don't get good news. It's really hard. So how to manage that?
It is, as I put here, it's the effort, it's the heart, and it's the development of an idea, right? So especially when you are a proposal developer, it's different when you are a normal partner in a proposal, right? You step in, you hand in your capacities, and then you might participate in work package group meetings, something like this, and then you deliver in some text and so on. When you are the proposal developer, that is shaping the idea. Maybe it's you, or you're doing it together in a tandem with the client or with the researcher you sit with. You shape it, you build it up, you try to make it state of the art. You try to make ingenious connections, attach partners that make a glorious perspectives of different parts of the project. All these things that it takes such a long time. It takes such a long time on so many different layers to shape this up to be winning proposal. It's always that the winning to get and reach the place where you get to realize all these ideas that you have, and everything in those 4 to 6 months or 3 to 6 months. What is going on there is a shaping the reality on paper.
Yeah.
You get, it's like expectations, right? Because this is nice. It's nice what you're doing. It's expectation of something very, very nice, a very, very impactful, a very interesting or groundbreaking things that will make a difference, that you are shaping up. And you, like me, the period where I had a period where I was sitting and I was having I was shaping the idea. Yeah. In the period I was writing proposals or assisting in that tandem I had, I was the one that took the contact with research organizations, and then they had the technical, like that would fit for the call, and then I would build up the idea to fit the call. I would shape everything around that to become a 360-degree proposal based on that the basic technology, all right, to build the work packages, to build this how do we do this, how do we do the connection with the civic society, how do we make an ingenious circular economy trick here with this and that biomass, whatever, all this. It's an immense, and then it becomes very important.
Yeah, it's like I know that one friend of us will really understand this, and I know you will know who I'm talking about. It's like we make magic. Somehow we make magic, and this magic is crucial. And this magic means that we put also our creativity, we put also our own ideas in every project, and we lose somehow part of us in each project. And as you said, some partners, of course, are invited. I always differentiate. Core partners are those partners that are with me in the map, for sure. And others are invited. It's like, okay, we made the baby, you just put the t-shirt. So to make the baby pretty in the end, but who made the baby, you know? You are the complement for the baby, but I made the baby. So it's my baby. And yeah, every time I have a rejection in a proposal, I really coordinate, dynamize, and I made the concept and so on. It's like losing a baby somehow. And this process is really hard, but we understand the game. This is the game. These are the rules. We fully understand the rules, but how to manage when the assessment is not fair, when you receive some assessment that it is not really aligned with the reality, because assessments, evaluations, I talked to a lot of people, and in the last maybe 4 or 5 years, they have gone a bit crazy, let me say. I don't know which word to choose, but very strange evaluations and unfair and not close to real assessments coming from evaluators. And I'm evaluator, so really hard to understand what is happening. Of course, maybe it's the highest competition. There is more competition now than maybe 8 years ago. That's understandable. But the feeling is still there. They killed your baby. This is how I feel.
Yeah. I had something on the tip of my tongue. The thing is, we'll talk about the organizational things later and KPIs and stuff like this. That's the hard part. Yeah, that's why it's not only about like the heart. It's also about, for some people, many people out there listening, it's a matter of their job security,
of sustainability. It's not only okay, I got a good mark. It's my work. I'm supposed to get money. I'm an organization. I have a purpose. And of course, if you are for profit or non-for-profit, it doesn't matter. You have to ensure your sustainability. And what if research is your main or one of your main activities? This kind of the rejections may affect your sustainability.
Yeah, indeed. And I've been at the hard receiving end for that. I was laid off because I didn't. And when I finally won, they had already laid me off. That was a surreal scenario, but it was for that. Yeah, it's so I know exactly how it feels to be in that place on the hard side. No, we will come to that a little later. So that's the baby syndrome. Yeah, and I know my guests, proposal preparers in here, everybody is describing it like they're babies. So everybody will know what we're talking about and how we feel about it. Now the next block is called "The Baby Dies."
Yeah.
Managing rejections. So the psychology of the rejection. Well, first of all, there's the simple, most basic, the psychological feeling that rejections, it's not nice.
Never.
No, it doesn't matter which part of life. It's like this. It's never a blessing to get a rejection. That's no. Now the thing is, the nature of this is you build up the relationship to a proposal as we just described. Then you hand it in, and then there's a break. Baby travels. Baby's away. Yeah, you don't see it. And then suddenly comes the day that comes the bling in your email box from the commission.
Yeah.
And for my part, most of them has been, we regret to inform you that. So that's always a weird feeling, because you didn't forget it. Didn't forget your little baby there, but it came in the back of your head, because it became more a wow, let's see. Yeah, you put it in there. Wow, I have three babies now, 4 babies waiting there. That's a nice thought, yeah. It's when you're waiting for it, a little anxiety, but it's a nice. Let's see how many come through. No, then sometimes you almost forget some of them because you're so busy with something else, and then it comes. That is always a little weird. Yeah, it's always a little weird. You have started your new baby,
Hmm.
and then you get this, and then you get start the life of that baby starts to pass for your eyes of all the work you did. Elena, how do
Yeah. How do I manage? I
yeah.
don't. I don't manage at all. It's like uh, just for example, it depends. Okay, and I discussed this with people that told me, "Hey, don't make it personal. This
Mhm.
work. Okay, this is normal. You will have rejections. Yes, of course, but I don't want to get used to that because I guess that the time you realize it doesn't matter is the time that really you have reached a point in this work, in this position I am, that you have no more hope. You are really not engaged and committed with your baby. So somehow I want to manage it in a good way. So for my mental health, but at the same time, I don't want to get used to this. I always feel that pain. And I think I need to go through this duel, the mourning of the baby that has died. And at the same time, don't lose my energy, my focus on the new baby I'm working in. But imagine how hard it is. For example, this summer, I received seven answers to seven proposals in 2 days. Imagine how hard it was.
That's like when Goebbels' wife was killing his kid
Yeah, it's
one by
like
one. That was 7.
yeah. It's like if you take a machine gun and start like shooting all
Uh-huh,
my babies at the
uh-huh.
same time.
Uh.
And even, they killed all my babies. I have,
Yes.
9 proposals. I have now 5 in reserve list for those
Mhm,
9.
uh-huh,
And you should even feel happy with 5 reserve list. But come on, we all know
mhm.
that being in reserve list is not good enough. And probably you will get no money at all. So in the end, the feeling is I put a lot of time, effort, 9 proposals, my company, a lot of people working there, and no success
Yeah.
this year. Okay, because I don't want people to consider that my company is not good enough regarding proposals. But come on, we had 40% of success in the past, and we are the same people. It's what is happening then.
Yeah.
Uh, you never know. It's also there is luck as a factor there, but when you have bad luck, really they can kill your spirit somehow.
Uh, it's always so what happens practically is that when that email comes, everybody in the consortium receives that email. So when on that day you suddenly have a lot of emails in your inbox of either if it was a good proposal process,
Hmm.
yeah, then you can somehow uh, the pain of the rejection, it's it's easier to handle because many will say this cannot, we need to somehow see if we can find something else. So you're there's hope for something else. Okay, you need to do the work, but if there's a good energy around that, definitely this should we should give CPI to this. um the other thing is when it has not been a good proposal process, then it's a nah, sorry, we didn't get the funding. Bye.
Okay, entendido. Yeah. But yeah, then here are the comparisons, and this is also hard. It's like when the consortium was good, when the proposal was good, when really you had a high mark.
Mhm.
When you have a 14 and you are not funded, it's always very hard, but at least you feel proud of your baby.
Yeah.
But if at the same time you are a partner in another consortium and that consortium was a mess, that proposal was not good enough, and that proposal got funded, then you want to take that machine gun and start shooting the others. It's like, why? But of course, this is always your personal opinion.
Yeah.
This is the personal opinion of everyone, considering which is good, which is better. I don't want to enter that game, but that happens.
Yeah, the thing is, you have the weird occasions where you actually have an insight into a competing consortium, or even by coincidence, because this is always, of course, you're not supposed to share this, but sometimes you have partners that where you somehow get a hand on if you're invited, for instance, into two different consortia, so you see the draft work that they already have before you make your decision. So this is the most likely case here, that where you get a view inside this, and of course you choose the one that looks most likely with the best consortium and so on and so forth. So yes, that is a specifically painful.
Yeah, it is. But regarding what to do with your killed baby, it's okay if it is good enough. You always people usually say, okay, let's look for another topic, let's use this. It is not.
We will have the submission. We'll have that in a blog later, so we'll just wait a little bit with that.
Okay.
So that's, I know it's difficult to divide it here, because it's a natural thing. How do you manage a rejection? The natural next thing. We'll resubmit. We'll get to that shortly. I think so. Managing a rejection. So if we should be somehow, constructively saying, so how would you how to deal with this? So it's never going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's never going to be easy, and I guess it's just part of working life within this sector, that especially so there's the roughness of proposal preparation. Everybody who listens to this podcast knows what I think about that. And then there's this, which comes as a sting, as a dagger, like this, quick and quick and rough to deal with, a blow to your heart. It's yeah. And how to deal with that? Well, try to put some good energy in the next proposal.
Yes, it's always, and in fact, when you receive the rejection notice, you are already working in a new proposal. Usually you are already engaged, and you need to split your mind, somehow your brain, in different boxes, and say, okay, here is the pain box. It's already there. But I have the new box for the new proposal, and of course your colleagues. And when I say colleagues, it's not only your company, it's the people you have worked during months in that proposal. This is the people I love the most in this process, because they are with you during the proposal preparation. They are with you during the nights you are working on the proposal, and they usually support you when you receive this kind of bad news, because they feel the same as you do, and they are the ones telling you, let's go for the next. I have a good idea, don't worry, we will manage. Usually this, because these people have the same pain you have. They fully understand and support. Maybe your manager, maybe your CEO are not gonna really understand what you are going through.
No. We'll get back to that in the next block, the organizational things, because that's the rough part. But yes, it's always good to share with people who understand.
Yes, but you have to manage this, and depending on your personality, you have different kind of consultants. And I say consultants, but it's project managers, technicians. It's not always a consultancy. I'm in a research center, but this is my role.
Yeah.
So it depends on the person. There is people that really don't suffer as much, or it doesn't mean they're not committed, but it depends on you. Yeah. How do you manage that?
Yeah. They throw the luggage and then move on. It's different how we deal with this psychologically. Let's just move into the next block, because that's the rough part. This is why it's actually, that is probably the reason for anxiety. That is the reason for the anxiety. Why you would get anxiety around this. That's the organizational, personal impact of the rejection. So here we're talking about what frame are you in? Your work, your manager, the setup, the KPIs, and so on and so forth. All the things that, why do we go to work? What is expected from us, from the manager? What did you agree on to make your seat, it sounds wrong to say, but worthwhile for the manager, for the company to pay you salary every single month? It is, especially grants consultants, they will sit out there and they know exactly what I'm talking about, because it is indeed that. My KPIs, when I worked for P&O, it was on this. It was money. It was how much they tried to spread it out a little bit, so there would also be some soft elements, but at the end of the day, that was the KPIs.
Yeah.
And it was very clear after a while. It was not, then we have to look at your contract. If you don't, it's like this. And that's not, so it is in that sector. If you don't gain anything, it's not, it's not a social, what do you say, benefits officer. Yeah, it's like this. Of course, you need to add added value to for the money that you're being paid every month, but it's very different how this is managed by directors and managers. Yeah. The understanding also, it's a matter of the business model of the company.
Yeah. And of course, all the entities have KPIs. Consultancies, companies, SMEs, research centers, universities, all of us somehow are measured. Our performance is measured to make decisions from the management teams. And we shouldn't forget that all these rejections have impact, not only at personal level, but at organizational level. So imagine all the effort my organization put on all those proposals, how many hours, time, a lot of things we put there, and we got nothing in return. So this may affect a lot an organization. In our case, for example, a research institution is like many people work, and their salary is supported by projects. So when a project finalizes, we need a new project because we are a non-for-profit organization. So we need projects to be sustainable, to ensure the salaries. And for a research center like us, this is crucial to win projects. So it's impacting directly, even we are non-for-profit. But if you are for-profit, if you are a consultancy, I was manager of a consultancy in Spain. Of course, this is for profit. You have also KPIs. You have to win money. And you normally win money if you make money for your clients, if you win proposal for your clients. So there is a lot of pressure at the consultancy sector, of course.
Yeah, it's the problem, and every regular of this show will know exactly what is the issue. The issue is that this is a low-fee consultancy sector. It's not a tax consultancy sector. It's not a management consultancy sector. It's not any of these normally consultant areas where they charge shitloads of money and clients are willing to pay shitloads of money for the services. Here, it's opposite. It's the other way around, but you can't even guarantee we get the funding, so why should we pay you? That is the environment that the companies they are, the managers and the business models they have to shape out of. How do we squeeze money out of our clients for this work. Yeah? And some clients understand, but not all clients understand. So there's a lot of also pushing the price. Pushing the price for a fee for doing a proposal. It's even when I was there, I was sometimes flabbergasted of the offers that was sent across the table, where I said, but we're losing money every time my colleague puts himself at the table to write. It's every hour he spends, he's losing money because of this offer.
Yeah.
And that kind of pressure. But then you have, like this, but then we win it because then there's a success fee. So that's, but it's what. So this is what happens for researchers. They will say they have the pressure of especially the public part, that they are reliant on, often they're reliant on external funding from the EU to be able to continue with the research area, because there's not enough from the unblocked funding from the government that they get for many areas. It's the same pressure, because if there's no funding for their research, then they have to do something else.
Yeah, of course. And of course, you try to balance between research for private sector. So I fully support the idea that if the research you do, nobody outside from the private sector is able to pay for that research, then it means what you do is not useful. So my approach is, as a research center, we should focus on activities that provide value to the private sector. And if we get funding from the public to improve that, to continue research and provide new services to the private, that is perfect. But why the administration should put money on an institution that is making research which is not useful for the private sector, that they are not able to pay for that? This is for another, maybe.
Yeah.
This is for another, but okay. The idea is, of course, we need to be assessed. We need our performance must be assessed. You need to decide if the investment in EU proposal is worthy or not. But at least before making decisions, you need to understand the process, to know the risk, and know the benefits. And benefits are not only, as you said, getting the funding. There are many indirect benefits. The problem is only those who work really in this sector and make the work we do understand both the work, the effort, what we are doing, the risk, and the benefits. But those making the decisions in the management, in the top level, don't know this, don't know really our work. So it's very
not if the only way that they do is if they have been in that very same place themselves early in their career.
Yeah, that's true.
And if they have struggled, if they have not been like this, just riding through, getting almost always a proposal through all this, if it's someone who has been in that very same place, then it's a different story.
Yeah,
because they
when
understand.
I was a manager, I never forgot what I did as a consultant. In fact, I loved to get involved in proposals for some clients with my consultants, because you need to be there. You need to understand and to know what you are selling, the service you are selling to your client. Or when they come to complain, what can you say?
No.
You need to know what you're selling, understand the risk, the benefits. And yeah, I agree with you. If you were a consultant, but sometimes people that were consultants maybe 10 years ago, they need to come back again, maybe, and refresh what it means.
Yeah. And this is, of course, so the personal level, it's extremely stressful. So this element of insecurity and anxiety, well, there's a deeply connected, of course. Everybody who feels the heat under their seat gets anxiety. and insecurity. It doesn't help the work-life balance, so it doesn't help the balanced mind. This this mechanism. So you're constantly, for myself, I was constantly thinking forward. Constantly throwing out new fish lines, to constantly think of it. Okay, that's there, but I need to make sure that there's something next. That is just continuously afloat, and it's yeah, that was not nice. And
Yes, but there is a difference. Being a consultant is working for others. This is really hard. It has advantages, but it's hard because, come on, you manage to get clients to, organize a consortia, start a project. You are going to get paid for that. But they are not your team. They are not your organization. You don't know what is happening in their homes, in their entities.
Yeah.
They may change their mind and just tell you, I'm so sorry, I'm off now. I want just to forget about this project, and you will win no money at all, because there is not a common feeling, a common dream, a common strategy. You are paid for a period of time to deliver something. You are not part of my team. I don't need to care about you as a consultant. I pay, what people told me is, I pay you for that. It's your problem. That's why I pay you to do this.
Exactly.
And I struggle because you are a consultant and this is your role.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really hard, because even when you win, they don't even recognize all the work you did. It's like the project is theirs, it's their project. They forget about you, and let's go to the next.
The bad times.
Yeah. In my case, it's different. I work now for the research center. In this case, this is more friendly. You get committed to your partners. You try to deliver. We all get engaged in the same boat. It has disadvantages. It's like you cannot say to a partner, hey, fuck you. I don't want to see you anymore.
Exactly.
As a consultant, you can always choose your clients and say, hey, I will not work with this client, never. I don't want these people anymore in my project, so I will decide not to work with them.
Yeah.
I cannot say that. It's like, of course, this is my company with the good things, bad things, and I need to accept that. And I need to do my best with the tools I have. So depending on your entity, there are pros, there are cons. Universities have a different approach. It's also hard. Bureaucracy for universities is a barrier. So all of us has a lot of problems, and their rejection will affect in a different way the organization, always. Yeah. And depending on the country too, the countries are different. There are more tools to support people who is preparing proposals. For example, in Norway, they have some financial support for proposal preparation. In Spain, there are also some financial support. I don't know in other countries. So I think our listeners will have something to say about their organization, their countries, but I think most of them will understand what we are talking about.
So now we talked a little bit we've been touching about the roughness, but it's not about one's own seat, but it's also, as you mentioned earlier, this fact that you, especially in a research organization, it's jobs. It has a direct consequence. I also said it earlier with the researchers that they can't continue research, but this idea that when you don't have to think too much about that when you write the proposal. No, because it's something where if you can see the light being closed in the eyes of your like the researcher and the research team saying, sorry guys, and you will know that there might be a couple of people that has to leave and so on. course, responsible management should always have alternative sources, so to say, parallel sources, so it doesn't dry totally out. But still, you know that if it had been secured, they might even have been able to hire more people to
Yeah,
carry out the activities. Yeah, so it's
of
also
course.
about developing it's not just maintain, but developing the research and developing the research capacity, so content here,
Hmm.
lifting the research team up or the individual researcher, like that they go in a new place where not only will they, I'm talking about the real world, right? Like that the research that they do actually makes a difference, but also that they will synergize on that to be into new proposals easier that will catapult them into more funding and so on and so forth. So it's always, if the seed doesn't come, if it ends there, that.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's like, of course, once you enter the EU will, it's supposed to be easier to be there, to maintain, to be sustainable, because you usually have your network. You can continue the project. You after finalizing, there is always a topic related what you can continue. So, but even you have good researchers, even if you are doing great, as I told you, sometimes you have bad luck. That's all. So you don't get as many projects as you expected, and considering that also the Commission have what I call the Valley of Death. Is, for example, we are finalizing now a program, and the new program is delaying. So we will have no new topics deadlines until maybe September next year, meaning it will not be evaluated, approved, and maybe we will not start a new project until 2026.
Yeah.
So for a research center, like 1 year without any deadline, proposal, funding program where we can apply is a lot of time.
Yeah.
And if you have the bad luck as we have, that we are finalizing like 3-4 EU projects, of course, we try to get funding to continue our research, but we were not lucky.
Yeah.
And now we have to face this problem. Is okay, how can we manage? Okay, you look for different funding programs, you work with companies. This is not, of course, my fault, but all of us in the research center, management, technicians, everyone has to consider that the sustainability is crucial for everyone. So we need to look for the best way to continue our work. But yes, it is impacting jobs, of course, sustainability, new jobs, because we always expect to grow. But when the bad time comes, it can affect, and some people can be fired, of course.
Yeah.
And this is not good. Never is good for no one.
No, because that's the opposite of developing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we cover this one?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I'm thinking about if we talk about the different organizations.
I think maybe
KPIs. Yeah.
Maybe you how to deal with this. First of all, try to spread out the places where you can look for funding. Try to be creative in the places where the sources. Try to, because a lot of things are stuck on horizon, especially in the research world where you are, Elena, right? It's because it's a major source, and it's where a lot of researchers go. But there are alternative ways to get funding, and I know that, of course, Norway is a great country when it comes to this. It's not enough, but for instance, I had these ladies in the podcast that has made a tool for researchers where they can find alternative funding in America or Australia or in Asia and so on, that you can actually apply for as a European organization. Private funding, it's because if it doesn't work, if it's like this, if you can open a window instead of the door you thought, if you can find somewhere, at least it might not be the same amount, it might not be exactly what was thought of. But if you can at least find an alternative source that can shape things up for you a little bit. Scientify Research, and they have specialized themselves in making a tool that can look for funding, like not just so it's sort of a search tool for researchers. So I'm gonna put it in the link in the I'm gonna
Yeah.
put the link for it in the episode notes, so you dear listeners out there, and of course, Elena, you can also check it out because it's
Yeah.
specifically
Thank you.
specifically made for researchers for finding alternative ways for funding. So it's just that's a little instrumental for you out there. Yeah, it's don't despair. There's always something else. And that brings us to the next block. CPI for baby. Yeah, you're going
Yeah.
to make that like electroshock.
I love that. CPI for baby.
So everybody, so we touched it several times in the conversation already. So the resubmissions, right? That's the big animal out there that is luring behind the curtain when you get the rejection. Should I pull this curtain? And say, oh, there he is, the resubmission. it's the last straw that you look at, and especially as a grant consultant, right? It's something that you always run into. Oh, we have a resubmission. Who's going to take this resubmission? and you will for sure also have it continuously in Smart Innovation Norway. Yeah, should we do a resubmission? Should we run for this? Is it? And why is that? That is because exactly this. It's the efforts. It's the importance of the organization for what is there. It's we cannot let this die feeling. We need to try to find it. It's too good to die ish. Yeah.
Yes. I'm gonna follow this approach, and first I would tell, even before considering a CPI, we need to look, and I always ask someone to do an autopsy. My question is it really dead? I want to know. I need to know. I can't believe, is it really dead? So please, I ask for the autopsy. So first, is a possibility for redress, or is a possibility for a complaint for something? Is like, I want to scream.
Never. Don't waste time. Don't waste time on the complaint. Don't take that path. It's a thorny, very short and thorny road. You write your complaint, and then nothing.
I made nice. I did once and never again. But I tried. I felt that I couldn't believe it was that, and I needed to try just to really, I don't know, maybe realize it is dead. So yeah. Just jokes apart, CPI, I don't like resubmissions as they are considered. So resubmission, from my point of view, never. But using concepts, using contacts, using good ideas, you always learn something from all the proposals that you prepare. And you can always use something that really you love and try to reuse in another proposal. But a resubmission as it is, with the same consortia, the text, and as people usually do, I think this is a huge mistake.
I'm not sure I have ever heard a resubmission being funded in my sphere of obviously there has been resubmission. Yes, I know one. You know which one?
Which one?
Chowtech or Innovation. They had this SME this tool for searching funding. Actually, as we talk about it, you remember? That became part of our back office tool,
Yes.
but was also a public tool that was that I think they sent resubmissions 5-6 times. They insisted on sending it. I had a go at it when I was working for P&O shortly in 15, but I didn't win it. But yeah, back to that was the creation. So it's not. It's what happens is if you take the same consortium, the same thing, and then you find a call text that is supposedly fitting, that is a grinding process, because you have to redo the work, because when you go into that process, but that's gonna be easy one, right? Because we already have the text. No, you don't, because you have a text for an old call.
Yes.
It might
And
seem the same, but it's not. If anyone, a good evaluator and even a mediocre evaluator, can see it was not written for this call. You know, what's this? Or even how much you window dress it or put makeup on it and eyeliner, whatever. It's um, it's gonna look weirdly. It's gonna look like a Halloween costume for Christmas. You know,
yeah, and in
you-
fact, maybe it is like 1-2 years past between, they just submitted the first one, they evaluate, they give you the notice, you find another call, you submit, they evaluate. Maybe it's 1.5 years, 2 years between those moments. So how your proposal can be innovative at all? So it's not possible. Of course, if you go to SME instrument, it's different, because as an instrument, sometimes you are so close, there are a lot of competition. So maybe, of course, if you don't make any effort on improving your proposal and you just resume, maybe because you are so stubborn, in
Mhm.
the end, you get just very lucky and you get evaluators that really find it interesting in comparison with other proposals. But for cooperation projects, really, it's very hard. So when they say resubmission, most of the people, I guess, and I know, are considering the starting point. We have something good in this proposal. That's great. We had something good partner, good concept. Can we do something with this? Yes. But there are some people that send an email to everyone that was participating. Hey, do we resubmit this?
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
say,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
will
Yes.
you do that? So
Yeah.
this is not a winning proposal at all. You have to really make an analysis, decide what is worthy to take, what you should forget or improve, and work on that.
Yeah,
That's
you
all.
know what? And it's the horrible thing is when you're a grants consultant, you have the client say, "But it's a resubmission, so we're not gonna pay as much for it
Yes,
as if it's a
because
if it's a
resolution.
it's from scratch." Oh, I didn't do it. I'm very happy I didn't do that. And
Yeah.
I know it was horrible, but you don't, you know, yes, I agree. When you do this, you're gonna get a rejection. And you try, because what happens in the resubmission, if it's an annual, let's say it's a multi-annual program,
Mm.
right? Let's say it's a live proposal. Yeah. So it's the exact same call text. And you do the exact same proposal next year. What's going to happen is the evaluator is not the same. So if you don't rethink everything, take it from scratch one more time, say, let's rework this. If you take basically the same text and rework it a little bit here and there, they will and say, let's look at the evaluation summary report, and then we adjust these things, and then we're good to go. Yes, baby, we're gonna get a 100 score in life. But no, because the new evaluators, they will look at it with different eyes, and they will find something else that they didn't like, or that they
Always.
on the text that you got a 5 for in the other one, you submitted first, they will give you 3, and they will come with critics that you think, so you cannot count on this. It's not an objective machine you put it into, and if I adjust here and here, then we get the fun. No, 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 no. It's people that sit there. So you need to do the painful thing and say, okay, take the concepts as you said. Yeah.
Mm.
Because that might have value. There might be value in the way that you have structured your communication strategy. Or there might be some nice way of doing the dissemination workshop. There might be a nice way of extracting biotechnology processes, extracting some elements from orange peel, whatever that can be used. But the concept around the idea that you have to sell, you have to say, let's go into that machine, the creative room again, and look at it once more throw things up in the air. So how do we do this time?
But do you know, some people maybe listening will say, I did that. I
Mm-hmm.
made the effort.
Mm-hmm.
I invested time to, correct deviations, follow the recommendations for the evaluator, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I got worse.
Yeah.
And I got less marked
Yeah.
than in the first one. And really,
Yeah.
I improved the proposal. And that's why also some people say, okay, maybe I don't rely so much on the process and evaluation. So this is like buying tickets for the lottery. So I will resubmit as it is. And I fully understand. Okay, you can always do that. But this is a real resubmission. It's taking your project, not investing any additional hour, and buying a ticket for the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes maybe you won the lottery.
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly.
But this is not the usual. It is not what usually happens.
Yeah. So that should be the recommendation from him. And actually, with my guests, when we discussed this, I think I had it with Georg from Austria, great guy. Never. Also, Joram from Inspire Science, when we discussed this, never. Always from the beginning. Don't just take the test. Take it, start from scratch. Let's have a look at this.
So it's like put your baby into the grave and forget about it.
No, you take the DNA from it, then you clone it into something much more beautiful.
Yeah. We should forget about zombies.
Into a much more fertile woman.
Yeah, because if you get a zombie in the end, you have to manage that zombie later. This project that maybe in the end was not a good one. You have to live with that. So
Ooh, that's what we discuss in the episodes where we talk about coordination, a proposal, like the coordinator and so on. Sometimes you just wish for things to to get a rejection. Am I supposed to work with this for 4 years?
yes.
3 months has been enough.
Yeah, so imagine if someone tell you, hey, can we resubmit this proposal? And you say, I will think about it. Probably not. So no CPI for our baby, but as you said, maybe we can extract some organs and put them in the freezer or to make, but I don't like, the, how do you call it? Frankenstein. It's like, I don't want a Frankenstein at all, but at least, as you said, the DNA extract some good things for the future is always good.
Yeah. And it's always, you should, you know what, take the creative energy from the good energy from the partners that you really like to work with.
Yeah.
That's right. It that way. Or there might be a simple, if I just, like I just mentioned, if you follow my track and try to look for different places of funding where you cannot be 20 partners. It might be national fund. You might create a cascade funding. You might put things together with different sources or private sources, something like this. Well, then it limits it. It might make it easy for you if you have to choose partners, and then you take the ones that you work well with. So, sorry, there's only room for 3 partners in this one. We will look at this concept that we developed in work package 3. Because that's you should never let good ideas die.
Yeah.
Let bad proposals with good ideas die, but don't let the good ideas die. And it's sometimes you're forced to let even good ideas die. I was working a lot with some Danish partners and some Dutch partners on biomass valorization, and we did it twice or thrice. That was not resubmissions, but it was taking developing biotechnological concepts to extracting biomass and using it for for other stuff. at the end, they had to okay, we it's not gonna
Yeah.
Horizon doesn't like us,
But you
it's not.
pointed out something which is crucial. And when you told me about how to manage these disappointing moments and this frustration, partners, core partners, you already told that. It's like, if I can give a tip, is it is easier for me to continue in this work, to continue developing new proposals, because I have a very good small core partners in my network that I fully rely on. And it's really great to sit with them. What can we do for the next year? Which is your strategy? Which is mine? Let's talk about we can do together in a very equal status. So if I cannot push now, it will be you. Next time it will be me. And when you rely on someone this way, it's easier to manage the bad times, because these people will be there supporting you because they are with you and they understand what you are going through. And really, for me, these partners, these entities, people, I would say, because for me it's like friends, make my work easier and make me get again happy or dream about a new project or doing something together, thinking about this in a very positive way.
Mhm.
So your people, your network is crucial here.
Yeah, indeed. On that note, should do we have anything else? We talked about putting in maybe the European level that you talked about, but that's not the idea that how many like the resources that being used so much out there. It's not affecting your personal mental health. This is of so societal importance, right? This is a discussion about, is this the right way to, is it the appropriate way to fund research and innovation?
Yeah,
Is
but
it is
I
it is it
think
is it
it
too many?
affects your mental health, because it's like if you're taking your baby to a beauty contest. If you just see 2, 3 babies, you consider, hey, my baby is the beautiest. But when you go outside and see millions of babies, and you say, oh, my baby is not as beautiful,
It's
there are
ugly.
millions outside there. So how can even I consider that my baby was going to be the good one or the selected one? So when you see and realize more than 100 proposals submitted in your topic, how many entities, or it's like really it affects you. It's like, which are my real chances to succeed?
This idea, when you see that you have 100 proposals submitted, right? That's rough.
Yeah,
It's that's yeah. And I remember that that was just before I was laid off, the last 6 months, something like this. We were starting to looking into calls, niche calls in Horizon, where that there's only a limited amount of of capacity in Europe to go for exactly that. So you would, like, increase your chances building consortia for those corners here and there, where you will have 3 proposals submitted or 7 proposals submitted, or sometimes even just 1.
yeah.
And that analysis you can do. And I can recommend, if you do have the resources in your organization, to put a person couple of weeks to sit and do that kind of intelligence, because you can find the figures.
Yeah, it's not so
Old
hard.
calls, you can sit down and you need to get the ins and out of how to get it out, right? But when you have found out how to get the statistics out of the submissions per call and area and so on, then you can start to look at the areas. Okay, then you see, down here, that's thin, and then when you get new calls coming out, others will probably do the same exercise. But still, you it's still a limited amount of partners that of organizations that can go for these places, because it's very specific. So you will have
Mm.
it's yeah, but it's a weird way to go. That's more for grants consultants, right? Because if you're research
Yeah,
within a
maybe.
specific area, not just this is
Yeah, but it's a matter of probabilities. But this is then when I consider, okay, more than 100 proposals, an average of 15 partners per proposal, more than 1,500 entities spending in average 3 months working on proposals, how much money is, when in average the commission for those topics is giving 5 million for 2 proposals, 10 million euros. I make the the calculation and I say, what? We have spent much more in Europe preparing all these proposals than the money that the commission will give. But yeah, this is just
no, but this is absolutely valid, and I don't think the commission doesn't like to talk about this because it's the basis of their whole model that it works like this, right?
Oh, of course.
But it is an issue, and it is an issue. Now I had my my regular guests, Rita Del Mata. She did actually. I think it was posting around the same that you commented here. But she just did quick calculation on the September calls now, I don't even remember the actual figure. So 40 calls or something like this. And then she timed that up with the amount of proposals and people from each organization working. It was 8,000 people.
Yeah.
I think that was. I think I remember the figure 8,000. Just, and that was a conservative estimation. 8,000 people who got their summer holiday destroyed.
Yeah. And estimate the minimum amount of hours you will dedicate as a single partner. Maybe is 150 hours. A coordinator can dedicate 400 hours. So put in average 200 hours, multiply those hours by average PM rate cost in Europe, multiply by 8,000 entities, and the figure is better not to say it loud. But this is the game, and I already recognize we accept the game. This is how it is. But how this thought is affecting me personally talking is, when we decide to go for a proposal, we have all these figures in mind. It's not only that the topic is aligned with my strategy, this is something that I can do, is which are the real chances I have to get the money. So we consider if this is a very crowded topic in the past, if how much funding there is there, if there is a strong lobby already in this topic. This must be analyzed. And I guess not everybody make this analysis before jumping into a topic. And that's why there are so many people.
But I would say I recommend every single listener who's listening to this and working with proposals and have a say, man, being in your chair to coordinate the proposal preparation. So if you prepare yourself like this, a little bit with dates and data and facts and statistics, look a little bit into that, do that kind of intent. It's going to help you because you won't get the big surprises of 100 proposals.
Yeah.
Because you don't want that. Nobody wants to be in that pile of 100 proposals with 4 months intensive work. It's devastating.
It is.
The Grand. No, should slowly wrap it up. Toughest challenge. Now I have this. Of course, I sometimes give you a peek into the independent podcasters world, and I always make a rundown. You hear the word a lot through my episodes of Your Regular, and this is an agenda, extended agenda. This one I sent for Elena, the end here toughest challenge. It was I copy paste every time I make a new rundown and take out the old elements and fill it with new. But here I forgot to change. So no, we are not going to talk about Gata de Yorgos, which It's a wonderful episode that has already been. I'm editing it now. It's great. So you will already have heard it when you hear this now. No, we're going to have a talk about the toughest challenge, of course, about what is the toughest challenge on rejection. It's quite broad, but
Wow, the toughest challenge of rejections is to forget about you had that rejection to continue the work. It's like, clean up your mind and continue with the same energy, the same commitment. So, as I said, the toughest challenge is not to get used to rejections. Really, it's like you continue loving your baby, and it doesn't matter if your baby is beautiful or ugly. You have to put your effort on your baby once again. And as I told you, I'm a mother of, I don't know, more than 100 babies. I don't know how many babies in my life I have had. But yes, this is the toughest challenge.
it's. I agree to find the energy for the next one.
Yes,
It's
really hard. It's really hard. And don't lose don't continue relying on the system. As I told you, sometimes when you see this kind of issues on the evaluations, on the number of proposals, you lose the confidence on the system, on the game we are playing at. And you have to forget about this and continue, and this is how it is, accept that, and so don't lose the energy, the rely, confidence, and continue. This is the only chance we have as consultants.
No.
I think that's all.
Yeah. That's it, Elaine. Thanks. I'm just gonna land the plane. So are you ready for the for the ending out there? You know it. You can almost say it together with me. Now, dear listeners, thank you so much for listening to the end. Remember that you have tons of content now. I must admit, as an independent podcaster, I get more and more proud every time I put a tag and a number now, because it's a lot. I passed 130 when you listen to this, and it keeps going, and I get a lot of nice attention from stakeholders out there. It gives a little bit. I don't earn a euro cent. I did send my first invoice to Inspired Science for the very nice episodes I did with them, but otherwise, it's still an independent, not very commercial podcast. It's but it gives me so much happiness to do this. So I truly hope you enjoyed. I truly hope that the content that is out there is something that helps you, because that's the basic driver for me, the motor in this. It's a lot of heart behind this. Go into the grant.eu and see what the heart created, so to say, together with all my great guests. Now, it's that. And while you're there, now I just gave you the heartfelt speech. So if you have any sympathy at all with what I'm doing here, do subscribe to my email list. This is what helps any independent podcaster to have such a growing thing there. So that's the otherwise, and when you have done that, you go in to LinkedIn and connect with me on LinkedIn if you have not done that yet. That's where the fun happens. That's where the flow is. And do go and follow my page, The Grant, because I do try to channel the traffic in there, because it's the more it grows, the more weird my personal LinkedIn profile gets with the stuff from my data job and stuff. So it's go like the page. Just go like the page. Thanks in advance. No, that's that. Elena, thank you for dropping by.
Thank you for inviting me again. It was really a pleasure. And happy to hear and maybe have a baby in the future.
Yes, and Elena, and this is what I'm starting to slip in marketing, so to say, for what I'm doing here into my episode. So dear listeners, so we are discussing here Elena and I, to get the grant attached to future proposals of hers. And I'm not revealing any secrets around that. So indeed, Elena and your network there, they have already expressed that this would be very, very nice to have the grant on board. Of course, I'm very happy because this is what I want to do as I move on to get attached to proposals to develop myself as a small podcast, to getting a little bigger all the time and getting in there together with you in what you actually do. So yeah, that's good. So the future will see if it's going to be dead babies or if it's going to be living babies.
Give your baby a chance. Come on. Or we will make a CPI. We will never know.
Maybe the grant will make the difference, so it's going to be alive, baby.
Yeah, sure. I bet on that. Come on.
No. Dear listeners, thank you so much for listening to the end. Elena, let's say goodbye to the dear listeners. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Grant. All the Grant episodes have their own site on the Grant website. You'll find the link in the episode notes where you listen to your podcast. On the side of this episode, you'll find a link to Elena's personal LinkedIn site and a link to Smart Innovation Norway. Further, I will add a link to Scientify research that can help you identify alternative funding sources for your project. Next week, I have a real treat for you all. I have a new episode in the very popular AI series, and this time I have a panel of critical people on board challenging the chatbot enthusiasm. I managed to get a Horizon Europe evaluator, Maria Daniela Angione, and a solid critic of the large language models, Rasmus Plus proposal and project expert Diana Huber, into the virtual podcast studio together with Rita Gilmata and myself to have a critical view on these new tools. The episode is divided into two halves, and first part will focus on the evaluation part. That's what you get next week. This is indeed content that you don't want to miss. Remember that the grant would really like to join some EU proposals as a partner or subcontractor. I am slowly getting interested feedback for having the grant included in proposals for 2025 goals. And why is that? That's because some proposal developers realize that adding sound to the proposal communication strategy can be a strong addition to connecting with the project stakeholders and the world beyond the realm of the project. For a relatively small part of the project budget, the grant steps into the communication and dissemination group and delivers a plug-and-play solution with strong podcasting expertise, 16 years of proposal and project experience, and a big follower base. Reach out through LinkedIn or my website if interested. Finally, don't hesitate reaching out if you want your own podcast episodes flagging topics of importance for you specifically. Grant's consultancy company Inspire Science have their own series with 3 episodes flagging their capacities within different areas of supporting research organizations towards EU funding. The possibilities are many. Flagging your capacities as a company, pushing a message towards the process ecosystem as a research organization, promoting an important event, or boosting your communication strategy. The grant offers a plug-and-play solution with a podcast host with 16 years of experience within the EU R&D field, which secures the solidity of the content. I'm not a journalist, I'm a conversation partner that understands your perception. See you next week.